Hermes Agent is probably the best AI agent right now, and this new update just made it even better. OpenClaw got all of the hype this year because it made agents feel like a personal assistant living inside your chat applications. You text it, it does stuff, and that felt like the future. But Hermes already moved past that. In this new update, it's got multi-agent reasoning, reusable skills, it writes itself, memory you can actually see, coding projects, task verification, and more. That's not just an assistant anymore, that's an agent that genuinely gets better the more you use it. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly what changed, why Hermes is ahead now, where OpenClaw still might make sense, and how I would actually use this in a real workflow. Now, to talk about the update itself, starting with the MOA, or the mixture of agents. This is the first big change, and Hermes now makes it a first-class feature. In essence, instead of trusting a single model to be right, Hermes can send a hard question to several models first, and then have an aggregator model read all their answers and synthesize the best final response. And then it handles the tool calls from there. Now, this matters quite a bit because one model is just one opinion. For anything genuinely hard, business decisions, content strategy, coding architecture, maybe deep research, a panel beats a single voice. The way you would use it is exactly like this. You would give it a prompt asking it to use mixture of agents for a specific task. It routes that through multiple models and hands you a synthesized answer instead of one model's guess. Now, this is a big part of why Hermes feels more serious now. It's not just one chatbot in a loop, it can behave like a whole panel of models when the question deserves it. But smarter answers are not even the headline feature, as we've got the /learn feature. Now, this is one of the main reasons I keep saying Hermes is ahead, because most agents forget everything the second a task ends, run the same workflow 100 times, and they never really get better at it. But Hermes flips that with a single command. You point it at a URL, a folder, a description, or a workflow that you just did, and then it turns that into a reusable skill that it keeps and applies next time. Here is how I actually use it. I have a specific way I review YouTube scripts, so I taught it that just once. After that, it saves it as a skill, and from then on, I just tell it to use my script review skill to review and give me the exact fixes. It will run my preferred exact process every time without me re-explaining anything. Those skills are stored as plain knowledge files on your machine that Hermes can read, update, or even delete. And this is the whole difference in one feature. It doesn't just complete tasks, it learns your way of doing tasks and keeps it. Now, OpenClaw has skills too. You can even get them from ClawHub, and some of them include the self-improving agent one, but you install them from a marketplace and they sit static. Hermes writes its own from your actual work and refines them as you go. That is one of the gaps, and to make it even better, you can actually see what it's learning about you. That takes us to the next feature, which is the /journey. AI memory is usually creepy, precisely because you can't see it. Some system is quietly building a profile of you and you have no idea what's in it. So Hermes added the /journey, which shows you everything the agent has accumulated, the memories, the skills it's built, and lets you edit or delete any of it. So you run /journey and you can see exactly what it thinks it knows about how you work. And if something is wrong or outdated, you just delete it. It sounds small, but it's the thing that makes a learning agent actually trustworthy, especially in the long run. A system that learns about you is only okay if you can inspect and control that learning. Otherwise, it's a black box you're supposed to just trust. This journey feature is what turns creepy AI memory into a notebook that you can read and edit. And once you know you can trust that it's learning correctly, you start caring about whether it actually finishes what it said it did. Speaking of that, let's talk about the verification. This one is pretty underrated, but it matters more than any flashy demo. The worst thing that an agent does is confidently tell you done when it never actually checked anything. So Hermes added a verification evidence and a /goal completion contract, so you can precisely define what done actually means, and it gets judged against that instead of the agent's own vibe. You can set a prompt similar to this one. Now that done is not the agent's opinion, it's a checklist with real conditions, and Hermes works toward proving it hit them. For real workflows, I want an agent that has to show it finished, not one that tells me that it just did and nothing happened. This is Hermes showing it's the most reliable agent out there. Now, if everything I went over so far is not enough, they also gave Hermes Desktop real coding projects. A proper code-based sidebar, a review pane to see diffs, Git worktree management, and project tools. In simple terms, it's no longer just a chat window that happens to write code. You can open a code base, ask for a feature, review the actual diffs it produced, and check or commit the changes. And this is where Hermes starts stepping into Claude Code and Cursor territory if you haven't noticed. I'm not saying it fully replaces a dedicated coding tool yet. In my humble opinion, it doesn't as of yet. But this little tool that came out a couple of months ago is advancing extremely fast. And it is now genuinely serious for building things which an assistant in your messages simply is not built to do. And that's really the whole story between OpenClaw and Hermes in my opinion. OpenClaw still feels rigid and it feels more like an assistant, whereas Hermes is more like a workspace. It's slowly replacing all of your other AI tools with more control and freedom. And the fact that it's a completely free open source project makes it that much better. Now onto the update itself, we've got a couple more boring updates, but they actually matter and you might care about it. The first one is that we've got cheaper self-improvement. As self-improvement sounds amazing until you realize that every memory update was burning your expensive main model. Hermes now routes that background learning to a cheaper auxiliary model, and instead of replaying your whole conversation every single time, it digests just what it needs and adjusts how often it does it. Translation, the learning loop got a lot cheaper to run daily. Second of all, we've got the background subagents, as Hermes can now fan tasks out to subagents that work in the background while you keep chatting. And then it hands you back a consolidated result. 3 researchers working at once and you get one clean table at the end. Using Hermes, I genuinely feel like I've got a small team working for me. Now, as you can see from the title and the thumbnail of this video, I'm not saying OpenClaw is completely useless. If you started with it and your main goal is messaging access, WhatsApp, Telegram, Discord, all of these different platforms, then OpenClaw is still great at that and covers more tools. But if I'm picking the better agent, the smarter system to actually build around, I'm picking Hermes every single time. As proven by Noose research, it was designed around a completely different bet from day one. It is built to be the best learner, an agent with a loop where it reflects on what it did, writes reusable skills from its own work, and gets sharper at your specific workflows over the weeks. And these updates only prove that they are actually committed to that cause. In my opinion, this V018 update is what pushed it from interesting alternative to the one I would bet on. So let me know what you think of this update. I'm curious to know about your opinion and whether you still use OpenClaw or if you've made the switch to Hermes Agent already. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you have found it to be helpful or informative to watch, let me know by giving it a thumbs up. And if you want to keep up with the latest Hermes updates, AI agents, and practical tutorials that show you how to actually use these tools in your daily life or work, then make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'll be starting a full series on Hermes and AI agents, covering everything you need to get set up that you definitely don't want to miss out on. Thank you once again for watching and see you in the next video.